Christine Wong, welcome to Steve Tees Off, brought to you by riversidegolf.ca. Thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for my first podcast as a guest. So looking forward to our conversation.
Cool. Very cool. And you are the first female on Steve Tees Off. That's a fist bump.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. What I would like to start off with, Christine, is let's talk a little bit about where you're from. You're from Richmond,
mm-hmm.
and your start in golf. Let's just start
backtrack to 25 years ago.
Yes.
Basically 26 years ago.
Let's go.
Started golf when I was about 7 or 8 years old. Was taught by my dad initially. I think he just got into the sport a year before I actually was born. So he was even then just new at it, but wanted, I guess, someone to join him on course because my mom wasn't playing at the time. And my sister is a little bit younger, a little bit more on the social butterfly side of things. So, I right from the start, I was able to get into liking for the sport and hang out with my dad. Back then, I learned at my Laura golf course on 5 Road. Mm-hmm. My very, very first, I guess, golf teacher through the golf camps was Chris Lowe. I know he was teaching a little bit out of somewhere in Langley. I haven't seen him since I first started golf, so it'd be kind of cool if I would run into him at some point. But I think from the start, I didn't feel as nervous. I just was whacking the ball around, and through the golf camps and being the only girl, I think it just made me feel competitive, and I wanted to just get into it more.
What made your dad want to put you into? And I'll just speak generally because usually what it is, young kids and you put them into soccer or something like that. Golf's first of all, it's based on, it's not a cheap sport to play.
Right.
You got to have some money, and then you have to have accessibility,
mm-hmm.
right? So how did you, what, and you said your dad just had started to golf and you probably went.
I think it's one of those things so around that age, 7 or 8, I was doing gymnastics, swimming, soccer, golf, a bunch of different things to just see what I would fall into and as I grow up. But I think golf is one of those things that my dad felt that it would teach us individuality and independence and kind of just patience, and as an individual on your own. If you're on a soccer team, you're kind of with everyone and doing everything with everyone, mm-hmm. listening to the coach. You can excel as an individual, obviously, in team sports, but I feel like with my dad's personality, and I'm like his mini me. So I think it helps with the growth of just a human, I think. A lot of the young kids I teach, I see that in them. Some kids are very individualistic, some are more team sport, but because I was so similar to my dad, I just wanted to do what he wanted to do and just followed him around. And I think golf is one of those sports that really connected us.
And there are rules in golf.
Yes, there's lots of rules,
especially for a little person.
Oh my gosh, for a little person.
and not cheat.
Yeah.
You can pretend.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, and I'll speak specifically, Ken Poirier from riversidegolf.ca, his little girl,
mm-hmm.
Nyla, I think she's 8 or 9, and she plays on the Grizzly Tour with Brad, and about, and Brad is, how that works itself out when you're 8 years old or 9 years old and you don't record a score properly.
Yeah.
And maybe you can talk, you teach.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And you teach young kids, girls, young kids. How do you get that message through to them?
So yes, initially when you're thinking about rules, it's overwhelming because especially when you're the rule book is about this thick
mm-hmm.
and could be thicker if you're a rules official, if you want to memorize every single rule. But in terms of getting the girls or just young girls or young boys into it, you teach them basic manners, basically, or just how to be, very polite. Be very respectful. It's an honor system. Just little things like that. And then as they get older and they start to retain more information about details of rules, then that's a different story. But just getting them into just good habits. And I always relate it back to being just a good person in life, right? You be respectful of yourself, you be respectful of others, and then you just go along with other people as you would in life. So, I mean, you see a lot of kids who, depending on their upbringing, if you can almost tell if a kid's gonna be like a little like, I don't know,
Demon.
Yeah, demon child, or they're going to really excel in their life. It's kind of cool as a coach now to see that. And there are like a lot of kids that have just stopped playing golf because all of a sudden now their focus is on something else or whatever. Golf gets too overwhelming. But golf is like, I feel like one of those sports that you can only find. I don't really know how to explain it. It's very, I don't know.
You have to be committed. You have to make a commitment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. It is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little story here. I was pretty good when I was young, but growing up in Manitoba, and I'm not going to be a bragger, but my dad put me in my first golf tournament when I was, I think, 12 or 13 years old, and it was a different world. Like playing in an actual tournament with 30 or 40 sets of parents walking around. Yeah. And you knew they wanted you to hit a bad shot. They were cheering for their kid. And I could feel that. Oh, and I'm not saying I was a club thrower. Yeah. But I'd be pretty hard on myself when I'd made a bad shot. Yeah. Like really hard on like just, and you can't swear, you can't, and then everything else goes for crap. Because you've lost over one shot. Yeah. That was just one shot. Yeah. And there were so many times when I was a kid when if the numbers got into my head, I started thinking too much. Yeah. And then, I'd be on the 18th tee and I'd pump 3 out and go, well, that's it. Yeah. It's over. Yeah. And you can't, it's a game like that. And I didn't quit. But I was playing hockey, I was playing baseball, and you played the seasons and coming from there. But I really got a feel for like the thing that really I love about it is that you're playing against yourself all the time. Is really what you're doing. Yeah. And Matt Paulsenberg said it the best when I made a comment about the Fortinet that was here at Morgan Creek on the 18th, on the 17th hole, which is a par 5 normally for, hacks like me. And they were playing it as a par 4. Yeah. And Matt said, that's just a number.
It is just a number.
It's just a number. Yeah. Get that out of your head. Stop thinking like that. Yeah. It's just a freaking number. And they can, it's a par 3 for him. But you get an appreciation for how far these guys and gals can hit the ball, and what kind of game you have to have. That it's just a number, and the idea of being able to go low and to continue to go low and to stay low. That's tough for a kid to wrap their head around. Yeah. But I want to get back to your start to you. Yeah. So you're a young kid in Richmond growing up. You end up you've got a penchant for golf. You're pretty good, good enough to go down to San Diego. Yeah,
I went to San Diego State. Basically grew up at Melora and then became a member at Colchina. So around the age, I think it was around 10, I was able to get a junior membership at Colchina. Whatever, back then I think it was like $500 a year. My parents dropped me off after school. I can hit as many balls as I want. I can play the course as many times as I want, obviously with some time restrictions, but basically 7 days a week I was at the golf course, practicing by myself as like a 10, 11, 12-year-old. And, with the support of the pros back at the club, it's a safe place to be. So my parents just drop me off. See you later. See you at 8 o'clock. See you at 9 o'clock. Whatever you need. If you need to eat something, throw on the account, whatever. It's just a place I could just be. Despite obviously doing some homework. It's not that I skipped the schoolwork. School is very important. But a lot of my growth happened at the golf course, and I'm still a member there to this day. And Colchina has been super supportive. And I think that's helped a lot of my success and accomplishments growing up, is just being able to have a place to be, to practice and do what I need to do to get my game where end up becoming.
When did you come on the what age did you come on the radar of Golf
I was
Canada?
like a slow, like late bloomer. There was a lot of kids that excelled between 12 to 15, and I didn't even hit that point till I was like that level of success until like first year of college. I was always kind of like near the top, but like top 10, like not really doing too much. I was winning some like local events, won club championship like every year. So I would consider that as a local event and just getting used to the feeling of winning. Didn't matter what tournament I was playing, because I still had that focus in for, my practice like I played, and I just did that in tournaments. And then all of a sudden I went to college and I have all this routine of workouts and all this stuff. And
were you recruited?
yes.
Okay.
So, well, okay. So I played Junior Worlds right summer going into grade 12. So I went down, played Torrey Pines North Course. At that point, I had sent some letters and stuff to schools. Back then it was completely different. Like you were just like, it was as if you're applying for a job and they take you or like reach out to you or not. Now it's a completely like social media is a huge thing of it, but I was just like kind of guessing that process. So when I went down there was with my dad and my sister, played golf, noticed this person with like a logo on their hat watching me the whole back nine of my final round. And I think creeping me out. I was like, who's this person? And then there was like a guy and a girl walking with her. So it was like three of them. My dad's walking like kind of not on the same side. And then after, so I think I had placed fourth or something for junior worlds in that age division. And she came up to me and said, I'm the head coach of San Diego State. Would you want to come join me and I'll take you on a tour of the campus? And we're like, oh my God, okay, sure. So right after the round, we follow her to campus and just did a tour. And I was like, oh my God, this is like insane. It looks like the movies. You have these red roofs, palm trees everywhere, blue sky because it was in the middle of the summer. And I was like, this is a school. You can go to this, you can play golf here and just go to school. It was crazy. So that was basically like love at first sight. Thinking about it, like now reflecting back on it, even though it was such a long time ago, it feels like I could still remember how I felt. Like she hadn't even offered anything. She's just like, here, before school, come have a look. This is where we work out. Like this is where you would do this. And this is where you would stay, all the dorms. And I was like 16 years old because my birthday's super late. So I'm a 16-year-old in San Diego looking at this cool campus, like love at first sight. So we, finished that off or whatever. We kept in touch. And later, I think a couple months later, not even a month later, she offered me a spot to play for the following year. And I was like, oh my God, going into grade 12, I already know where I'm going to next year. Yeah. And then I found out, so the girl and the guy who were walking, they were current players at the time. So they were a year older than me and they came out to watch like a potential recruit. And to this day, I'm still really good friends with them. So it's kind of a cool, like, they saw me when I was in high school, basically. And just, I think with the routine and like learning about myself and the game and working out, it really got my game to another level. Because I won my first collegiate Div 1 event, like my second or third event at school, like shooting like an insane, I'm horrible with remembering what I shoot or like my where I finish, but I remember I won in New Mexico State. And that was like crazy. Like I shot like under par. And I had never really done that. And I'm like, whoa, this is weird. And I remember playing and I'm like, is golf this easy? Like I'm just hitting the fairways and my putts are like, there's like a magnet in the ball in the hole. That's just, my ball is just going to it. And at that point I was like, whoa, this is kind of like fun. And then I ended up winning 2 events my freshman year. So I won Freshman of the Year, Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year, and that was super cool. And yeah, I feel like the rest was history. And then my game just got to another level, and I won BCM twice a couple of years later, and then won another 2 collegiate events in my junior year. And
so you finish up.
Yeah.
You finish going to school.
Yeah, I finished all 4 years.
You finished all 4 years.
That was that was the goal to finish school for sure.
Yeah. So you finish and then you make a decision that you want to turn pro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So freshman year won 2 events, junior year won 2 events, and then my last year, it was kind of like a weird time to like, well, now what am I going to do? Like, so finishing it out, I actually played pretty well. And then I'm like, okay, I'm riding this wave. And I was on Team Canada as well for all 4 years I was in college. So the summer after college, I was still on the team.
What does that mean being, what do you get if you're on Team Canada for golf?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
It's basically like you're part of the national team. So back then there was 10 girls. So it was like an AM team and then a junior team. So back then I was on the AM team. So basically you travel all throughout the summer, like back-to-back weeks. You do training camps together on long weekends. For winter break, there's like a week-long training camps. There's a bunch of training camps throughout the year. And you travel as a team to like international events as well. You just have access to coaches, doctors and everything that, and like cool sponsors, opportunities to have media days. And you're just part of this Team Canada.
They're grooming you.
Yes.
They're grooming you. They're grooming you for the next level is what they're doing.
Yes. In a good way though.
Yeah.
Because we learned a lot of like nutrition and all this like really, really good things. And there's not really much like anything negative to say about being a part of it. The coaches are just unbelievable. Like I've kept in touch with Tristan and Derek a ton. But you know, that was almost like it helped me. So while I was in school, I'd be with my coach, my team, working out, training, all that stuff. And then even through the summer, I still had a support of like the national team where we would travel and train and do the same thing, which is continuous for 4 years. Felt like those 4 years went by way too fast. Like, because I didn't really have breaks. My weekends or my holidays were training, which I wouldn't say is a bad thing, but it just made time go so fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I think after college, so when I did decide to turn pro, I went to Q school that summer. So it's summer 2013. I actually got to second stage and missed third stage by like literally 2 or 3 shots.
Where was Q school at?
So the first stage was at Mission Hills. My dad caddied for me. Basically drove the car around in like 50-degree weather. It was very, very hot. And I was like, oh my God. And everyone was shooting really low scores. Everyone hits the ball really far. Everyone hits the ball really straight. And meanwhile, I was still like, I understood what I needed to do in my swing, but my contact wasn't necessarily there. So my miss hits were a little bit more like off. And so now I'm kind of in a further distance because it plays a lot longer. So I felt back then I didn't have as much distance, but it worked for what it was at that time. And then second stage, we were at Plantation Course in Florida and, you know, playing off Bermuda. Have you played off Bermuda?
I never have.
It is like, I'm much stronger now, but I can't imagine how I was able to hit the ball to the rough back then. Because when you make contact and you swing at the grass and you try to hit down on it, it just grabs. So I remember just like hitting shots like incredibly right or incredibly left. I'm like, what is happening? This is like, so all of a sudden I just like felt like a different world or different game because I didn't grow up like here, getting off Bermuda grass where you just hit the grass here and it just divot flies. And then college, we didn't play too much off Bermuda either. So I was like, interesting. But anyways, I still had quite a few starts. Symetra Tour, so I played 2014. I think I got like 15 starts, but only made like a handful of cuts. Traveled by myself, and I wasn't based anywhere other than home. So I'm flying East Coast, like week after week, or if I knew that I was in 2 events, I'd just stay out there and just drive my car around and find someone like.
Where you find any? So when that process, you have to find a caddy. Do you have to find a caddy, or would you caddy yourself?
Then there was like caddies at the course, so you just have like a volunteer caddy, so wherever you pay them like $100. So it wasn't very. I think it's very different now. But
did you have to learn all that though?
Yes, on my own.
On your own.
Because they're like, "Do you have a caddy?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Can I push my own bag?" They're like, you should probably get a caddy. I think you need a caddy. I'm like, okay. So now I'm like trying to find girls like, hey, do you have a caddy? Like, how? So now I'm in this world because I'm not in Team Canada anymore. I don't have that support of like someone taking care of all that stuff. And then I don't have the support of my school team, who the coach took care of everything. Now I'm just like at this golf course by myself. But at that point, I'd traveled by myself before, so which is fine. But it's more like as a pro, now everything is just on you. Unless you have a team of people and you have like all these sponsors. It was my parents that were supporting me. So I was traveling by myself and trying to find the cheapest way to travel and manage expectations and all that stuff. So I found that it was more of a mental grind than like a physical golf grind because everything was so different. Course conditions were completely different. I didn't really have a coach at that point to help me with what I was trying to go through, like learning how to play off this grass. Like I knew I wasn't as strong. So I'm like, okay, I'll go work out. But like I was working out like based on my memory of workouts from school. And so yeah, it was a struggle for that first year. And I remember having these new Mira irons that were given to me and I was hitting literal hosel shanks for the first few events. So obviously when you start off the year hitting hosel shanks,
you're going this.
You're like, oh my God, what's wrong with my swing? Yeah. What's wrong with me? So anyways, I grinded it out that year. So it was 2014. And then I was like, okay, I had to go back to Hughes School. So that year I went back to Hughes School in August 2014. Didn't make it. I think I was just like mentally not ready. Despite just trying to grind and just, chasing that dream. But it's not even necessarily about like that dream of becoming a tour pro, is more like that grind of everything in between, that process. Like I love playing golf and I love the traveling part of it, but I feel like it was almost a little bit of burnout as well, just like mental burnout from like that year and then the 4 years of like all that. So actually after Q School 2014, I like just like, oh, maybe I'll just take a break from golf. Maybe I'll just, I don't know, work or something. Because that took a toll on me.
You needed a break.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it financially as well for my family, it was tough to see them kind of struggle with me, not just myself struggling, but like now I'm bringing everyone down with me a little bit. I'm like, I don't want it to weigh down all on me. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just work. So I started working a little bit at BC Golf, which Debbie Pine is an amazing human. She provided the opportunity for me to work the front desk and just be immersed in that world of the other side of like tournament golf, basically. And then all of a sudden within a couple months, Sport BC had a job opening and I was there. Actually, I was there for 7 years as the Athlete of the Year Awards coordinator. So I basically planned that event for 7 years. And so for 2 years, I actually didn't play golf, 2015, 2016.
You split the clubs down.
I literally just I think I played one kids sport event, fundraiser event. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like, maybe I'll get back into golf somehow. So around 2016, I got back into golf. I started working at Pacific Golf Academy, just trying to help out a little bit. I was helping out a little bit Colchina for junior stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of miss golf. Interesting. So while working, I was also getting into teaching a little bit and then was doing a little bit of both and then made the full transition in 2019. Yeah, 2019. So I have a lot of experience in the office work, sports side of things, but also now in golf. And I'm fully immersed in it and absolutely love golf. I think looking back, I'm like, I could try again to try to play, but I really now we own a home, have a dog, have a family. It's like I can play golf tournaments, I can teach, I can travel if I want, I can travel with kids to golf tournaments because I do that sometimes. I can literally do whatever I want and it's all still golf related. And I'm in the black versus the red numbers. And so I absolutely love golf tournaments. So I still compete quite a bit. And winning 2025 Female Player of the Year this past year.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. It was honestly a surprise considering I worked quite a bit, but also was trying to work on my game and just trying to play the best I could in tournaments. But But I feel like the opportunities like that would not have arisen, and I wouldn't feel as confident as I am as a person now than 10 years ago. I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, this is like not fun.
Mhm.
Like, so when I see some girls that I was playing with back then at semester tour and they're still playing and grinding, I'm like, they're either like fully backed financially and just literally playing golf for fun and just winning occasional money. But I'm like, you can't survive on that tour. There's like a really small group of girls that are very, very good, but also have a ton of financial backing. And it's not cheap to play in those events. It's like $22,000 to $2,500 a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it's just like, bye money. See ya. And you're just, if you don't make the cut, you make $0. And then
what do you do?
yeah, what do? You're like, back then, I was staying in Motel 6s, eating frozen dinners from Walmart, go to McDonald's. It was insanity. Now I can enjoy meals, steak, dinners when I want. It's a completely different lifestyle.
Well,
and I don't take any of it for granted. Like, there's not really a regret. There's more like things happen for a reason, basically. Yeah. And I feel like that's the same for life. And
well, is golf a metaphor for life, or is life a metaphor for golf, right?
Yeah. Intertwined.
They're intertwined. There is. It's because it's fleeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the wonderful thing, not just about golf, but about sport.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for young kids to play sport, because sometimes you can do everything just exactly perfect.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't work out for you.
Yeah. And it's not that I didn't like the grind of it. It was more just like the constant traveling and like different pillow, different bed, like just different everything every single day.
Crowd your mind up.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Who's going to show up?
Who's going to show up? Yeah. And so I like the stability of, being in control of what I'm doing in my life every single day. I can plan ahead. I can go on vacations. I can enjoy life versus grinding every day.
And your life, it revolves around something that you have a passion for.
Oh, yeah. Everything I do. My husband is a golf pro at Colchina. My sister is a director of instruction at Point Grey. My dad's an avid golfer. My brother-in-law is a teaching pro as well at TDA. Like everything is golf. Everything we do for fun is golf. What can you ask? What more can you ask for?
That's true. So let's talk a little bit about the kids that you work with now. Yeah. What age group are you? Or do you make it a conscious? Have you made a conscious decision as to what age group you want to work with, or has it just happened that way?
It's kind of happened that way. I got my start into teaching golf, teaching young kids. But I teach anyone of all ages. But the youngest I've taught is like 3.
3 years
and I'm like,
old.
You are a baby.
Wow.
Yeah. And some kids are smaller than others, and some like their speech have developed more so than others. So some 3-year-olds that I've taught can like talk nonstop. Some are still kind of figuring out words, but it's very fun. It's like a kid that I don't have, but I get to like share wisdom and like teach. And then they go home and talk to their mom about it or whatever. And then, there's some kids that I've taught for like 4 or 5 years, like, and you see them grow and become like a human, like you can relate, you can talk about similar things now. And I absolutely love that. It's cool to like look back on, like, I never had like a person like that. So it's kind of cool to be like, almost like, to the girls, especially like a big sister,
yes.
Right? They can like, we'll talk about, I don't know, different foods that we like, or candies or hairstyles, like random things like that I never really got to talk about because I'm being an older sister. So I was always the big sister to my sister. So I like, having that experience it was fun for me. And I love teaching.
So what do you primarily teach out of now?
My primarily teach at a Savage Creek driving range. But I actually just as of this morning have just joined up with Elite Golf. So I have another indoor facility that I have access to, and a place to work on my sim golf game and potentially play the sim series. But I also do a ton of playing lessons as well. So on-course stuff. A lot of people don't really know what it is, but basically playing lessons is like on the range, you do technique and you work on the swing. You don't necessarily care about where the ball's going. But on course, it's, game management, target golf, just basically how to play golf without having to like learn how to work on the technique of this swing. I find the difference between amateur golf and even really good am golf and pro golf is the game management aspect of things. You're not always hitting driver off the tee.
Yeah.
Right? You're not always just going for pins like that are tucked. It's playing smart. A lot of the stuff that I've learned from my husband, we talk a lot of golf, but like decade golf, basically aiming for the widest part of the fairway. You don't have to hit driver to get to the widest part of the fairway. You can just hit a 5-iron, have an easy approach. So teaching that to people and their minds just being blown, they're like, what? You don't just aim at the flag? I'm like, depending on your shot shape, but don't you just want to put the ball in the green?
Yeah.
You see that large space that's right of the green? Yeah. So it's so sharing my wisdom, it also I find helps myself, helps my game. The more you talk about what you're working on or how to do something, it almost like emphasizes that more in your brain. It gets more ingrained. So it's when I'm sharing that information, I'm also, sharing this new information for these guys, but also reiterating in my mind. So when I go out to play now, I'm just like, I know where I'm going and they also know where they're going. They have more of a plan. So I always tell them, have a plan. Right?
It's good to have a plan.
Yeah.
It's good to have a plan.
Yeah.
I work on the adage. I was telling you that I'm a hack. And I say this all the time that, and Jack Nicklaus had a saying, and my father, he used to subscribe to Golf Digest. It was the Bible to him. And he was always changing something with his swing because he started golfing later too, and Jack used to say, if you can't make that shot, if you're standing over the shot and you can't make it 7 out of 10 times, don't try it. And I go, if I can make this 1 out of 10 times, I'm giving it a whirl, which is stupid. It's a stupid thing. I admit that. It's stupid. But that one time when you do it, and you can't replicate that feeling, but you have to play for misses. Yeah. And that's like life.
I'm going through that right now with my dad, actually, because we were sitting there having lunch yesterday with my sister, and he's always trying to change his golf swing. I'm like, what do you mean change your golf swing? That literally doesn't make sense.
It gets worse.
It shouldn't. Yeah, I'm like, he's trying to break 80, but I'm like, you need to figure out how to play the game. Like, your 7-iron, you think your 7-iron goes this distance, but it's not. And like, you can't just aim at every flag. That's why you keep missing the green. He's like, what do you mean? You don't just aim at the flag? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you've been playing golf for like 30 years now.
You don't know that. Yeah, no, it's true though. But that's the difference between an amateur and a professional. You see that all of the time.
Yeah.
Well, I've got you talking about your dad and so talk about the what's the funniest or weirdest thing that you've ever seen on the golf course?
Oh my God. Funniest thing? I don't know. I had a funny experience when I was really young. Okay. So in the backyard, when we're learning, my dad's just teaching us how to swing the club in the backyard or whatever. I think we were like between 8 years old and 10 years old. He's just chipping around. He's like, oh, Christine, just stand there. I'm going to hit a shot over your head. I'm like, obviously I'm a kid. I'm like, okay. So I'm like facing him and he tries to flop it over me and just like smooths it right in the middle of my forehead. Now I'm bawling my eyes. It's like, what just happened? He's like calling my mom over and she's like, what did you do? And I'm like, Dad hit me in the head with a golf ball. So I don't know if that was some funny way to be like, you're playing golf and just ingrains into my brain.
That's funny.
But that's I don't really have a funny story other than that. Like
nothing when you were.
I'm the worst person to remember anything on the golf course because I'm basically a goldfish. So you can ask me what tournament did I win in this year at what golf course, I couldn't remember.
That's interesting because you know what? That's interesting because most I'll say most guys, they can remember shot by shot.
Oh yeah,
and
I know. Yeah.
I can tell you, like I've played I've played the Ridge course and the Canal course at Northview so many times. I can go hole by hole. Every golf course that I played in the Lower Mainland, I can go hole by hole.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not because I played them so many times. It's just, and it's probably that's probably a good thing that you can't.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people find that extremely obnoxious when somebody's going shot by shot and hole by hole and remembering every, but I don't know, maybe if that's just
It's an interesting thing. I feel like it's a good thing, but also not a good thing, because in life, if things happen, I can just erase it out of my mind. And I could have met someone like a year ago and we worked together for whatever, did something, and I just completely forget their name. Because I'm like, okay. And then, but on the golf course, it's a very good thing, because if I hit a shot, I'm just like, whatever. Because I remember 20 years ago when I was playing junior golf tournaments, I'd be dwelling on the past, and, you know, girls cry on the course when you're really young and whatever. So I'm crying on the course, like, oh my God, I'm in a double bogey. Then now I'm just like, I'll just try to make 2 birdies. Like at some point, like I'm not thinking too far ahead, but I'm also not like dwelling too much on the past. So now I reflect back, I'm like, why was I so sad? Like, and I see girls like that, sad, or like they just start to give up as soon as they, whatever, hit a little speed bump in their rough, like make a bogey or double bogey or miss a 2-footer. And then they're just like mopey.
What suggestion, having said that, what advice would you give to a parent that has, and I can say, I'll say a young girl that they want to get into golf. What advice, like a Reader's Digest version of some good, solid advice? I know accessibility is a big issue with getting young people, young and girls especially. Like I think boys too. And I was fortunate when I grew up that I could ride my bike to the golf course, and you know I didn't need to be dropped off there. But I was also playing baseball and all that kind of stuff. But what advice would you give to a parent that's thinking about, you know, maybe getting their little girl into golf?
That's a tough question to ask and answer. Because there's a lot of, it depends on the kid, you know, like if you find that your kid is a pretty patient person, doesn't matter if it's a girl or a boy, even if they're not patient, but you see that they have potential to kind of improve whatever they're working on, just let them experience it. Like, let them try things on their own. Especially for golf, it's very individualistic.
And where would you even go though to try things? Like there are some places,
right?
Like, you know, Matt Balsenberg's got backyard golf out in the Surrey Langley border. When we took our grandkids there. From like where they had little spongy balls and got.
Well, there's like honestly, pitch and putts have camps, right? If in terms of accessibility, because sometimes it's hard if both parents don't play golf, right? It's like where do you even start? And it's kind of a random sport to get into unless you know someone who plays golf and they've talked about it. But like last summer when I didn't really feel like going to golf, I just went to a pitch and putt and I just like literally chipped around, and there was camps taught by just high school kids. Just like they had just golf clubs, and they had like those Velcro targets, just kids just learning how to swing the club. But there's also some programming in schools to get kids into golf. But I think with the technology and social media and all that stuff, with Full Swing, and there's some movies, The Short Game, about kids getting into golf. That's a really tough question to answer. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I look at it and I have my daughter played ball up at SFU. She ended up playing, you know, NCAA ball for almost 4 years. She's a good ball player, but she ended up going to Guelph because she wanted to be a veterinarian.
Oh, okay.
And after first term, she missed ball.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that there's certain things like, you know, doing that
right
is like becoming a doctor. There's a lot of work involved.
Yeah.
And I was glad that she came back, but it also the ball, like playing it was tough.
Yeah.
Like it and she had opportunities to go down to the States and play ball too, but it just and
It's a lot of sacrifice for
oh
sure.
yeah,
Like I have told parents, like I guess now that I'm like thinking about more of it and then we're talking about it. I have some kids who are like wanting to get more into just tournament golf.
Yeah.
So kind of a little step ahead of just getting into the game, but it's the commitment. Like you have to practice. You have to like know how much time you need to put into it to get to where you want to be. And a lot of the time is parents, working and they don't have the time to drop their kids off to the course, or it's a little too expensive or whatever it is. But you kind of have to like, if you want to get your kid to try it, you kind of have to sacrifice. Like
there's always sacrifice involved.
Yeah.
And then you have parents, and I'm guilty of this. You try and live vicariously through your child, and try to make something that's not there, because that's a hard thing too.
Yeah.
Any sport, but golf especially. Like if the kid's not into it, it's something that it's not like riding a bike. Like you never forget like how to ride a bike. You get on a bike, but if you don't swing a golf club and practice hitting, you can hit you can miss the ball.
Yeah.
Like timing, all that kind of thing. There's a lot of things that are involved in that game.
Yeah.
And it is, it's savage.
Yeah.
It can be savage. You can hit.
Yeah. So that's why even when I'm teaching young kids, like, and I see potential in them, I try to just make it very fun for them. So they really like the sport for what it is. And then when I see that they have potential, I'm like, okay, have you, after a few years, have you thought about playing like competition? They're like, what? No, like I'm not good enough. That's scary, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's not really. Like I run the Zone 3 and 4 junior girls golf tournaments. It's kind of a subdivision of BC Golf. It is BC Golf Events, a zone of the Zone Tour. And I've been doing it now for 11 years. I have like 8-year-old girls to play in it and 18-year-old girls to play in it. So we created this novice division last year to just get these young kids playing private golf clubs. They're playing, these 8-year-olds are playing Vancouver Golf Club. They're playing Shaughnessy. They're playing Capilano. Like what other tour would you play private clubs?
It's true.
Right. And so it's kind of an incentive for parents as well, because they can caddy for their kids. I'm like, if you get your kid good enough, they can play these private courses. And
a little bit of incentive.
Yeah, yes, because they're the ones driving the kids around. Right. So a lot of time come in, but that it's having those conversations with the parents like, oh, there's actually so much opportunity for these girls to play golf, and just getting into it and getting them to love the sport and seeing the fun aspect of it, that'll keep them in it versus like the grinding aspect. That's comes later on.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, if somebody wanted to reach out to you directly, give a shout out to how they find you.
Yeah. Social media, Instagram, Christine Wong Golf.
Okay.
I also, we own our own like academy, kind of its own like umbrella, CJS Golf Academy. Basically my husband and I, we teach our lessons kind of through theirs, the booking system. We run classes for juniors, adults, just anything you need, on course playing lessons, a coach to travel with juniors to tournaments. Like I'm basically one-stop shop for anything. It's mental aspect, whatever. Yeah.
On that note, I'd like to thank riversidegolf.ca for sponsoring the Steve Tees Off. Christine, I would love to thank you so much for coming out and spending an hour with us.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah, it was very fun.